Have you ever looked at a life insurance illustration and you look at the cash value growth over time and think, man, that looks good. Look at my money grow. This company and this product is the best. Why doesn't everyone buy from this company? Because when I compare my illustration to someone else's, mine looks so much better when I look at the cash value growth. This happens a lot in the industry. If you're in the business, we refer to this as the illustration game. Have you ever heard before, if you're an agent, I bet you that I can beat that competitor's illustration when I run the numbers. I used to think like that early on in my career. Now the thing is, when you look at actual performance, it differs from the illustrations. The illustrations rarely happen. Sometimes they do, but it's quite rare. So I want to share a story that's going to tie all of this together. Several years ago, I meet with an individual. He's about 40 years old at the time, and he's looking at moving north of $100,000 per year for 5 years. So call it 100 grand years 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 500,000 total. It was actually more than that, into a whole life insurance policy. Really, he had funds in cash. He wanted to move it into a policy, looking at the guaranteed rate, the growth over time. He said, hey, I like this. This is a great area to park some of my money. Now, he was speaking with me and other agents and looking at several companies. And other agents he was working with were really showing illustrations with companies that looked better than everyone else, smaller companies. And as I looked at them, I said, hey, here's the same thing. I ran the smaller numbers so we could see a side-by-side comparison. But what I said was, this smaller company, we can put you in it, but I don't recommend it. When you look at actual performance, Mr. Prospect, because he was a prospect at the time, what I've seen to be consistent is 4 companies have consistently delivered the strongest actual cash values, highest returns. Mass Mutual, Guardian, New York Life, and Northwestern Mutual has been so consistent as time has passed. Often we've seen smaller companies project greater values, but when we actually look at them, the real performance, we don't see them deliver. Meaning, I've yet to see a small company actually deliver a policy with stronger cash values than one of the major mutual carriers. Now, of course, as the individual met with me, he went and relayed that information to other agents, and we hear, well, that's based on history. It's more so, what are you doing for me now as an insurance company? And I've spoken with insurance companies. They talk to us all the time, and my big thing is, okay, show me one policy with an internal rate of return north of 4%. Just one example, not an illustration, not a hypothetical, a real policy. And we can't get it, simple as that. Yet with the 4 major mutuals, we can. So where I'm going with this is he looked at different options, and he actually made a comment as we looked at the numbers. One, needed proof, but let's take a look at the numbers here. So up on the screen, we've got 3 policies with 3 different companies. 2 of them are major mutual companies, 2 of the big 4. On the far left is a smaller insurance company. Now the numbers look fantastic here. Not early on, but as time passes, what do we see? Pays in a total of $500,000, $100K per year for 5 years. Break even, what is highlighted in yellow, is year 5. I've paid in $500,000, I have $507. Next year grows from $507 to $535. Let's look at year 20. Let's give ourselves some space here. Here we go. And what do we see? So at age 60, in this example, he has how much? He's still paid in a total of $500,000, and he's got just south of $1.2 million in cash value. Now, if we look at the next major mutual company, the middle column, he's paid in a total of what? $500,000, and by year 5, he's got almost an identical amount, $507, a couple $100 less. But if we look at it by year 20, on the projection, what do you notice? Cash values south of $1 million, so $981,000. This smaller company projects almost $1.2 million. That's a big difference when you look at the value. And if we add an internal rate of return there, you'll see the percentage difference. If we look at the far right, because these are different companies, what do we notice here? Break even is stronger. Positive year 4 instead of year 5. But if we look at the same year 20 mark, what do you notice? You have even less, $945,000 in cash value. So, to the average consumer, looking at different illustrations, which was me at one point in time, when I just looked at the different numbers and said, hey, this company is not big as the other guys, doesn't have a track record, or I shouldn't even add that, I never even looked at the track record. I said, hey, these numbers look better, why would we not just sell them? Like it's in the client's best interest. But then as I began to dig deeper, and really I had exposure to this when I worked at the executive benefit planning firm, looking at historical performance policies that have actually delivered over the test of time. We found illustrations project one thing, but then what has actually happened, that is a different ballgame. And where people get upset when purchasing whole life insurance is when they buy a policy, they look at the illustration, they see fantastic values, and they're banking on having that. And they're sold by an agent that says, hey, this company looks the best right now. But then time passes, and that policy just under-delivers compared to what was originally shown. That is where so many people come out and say, this isn't what I thought it was. Like I put my money here expecting this. Expectations were not set properly up front. So where I'm going with this is when we see companies project fantastic values and they don't deliver, that's where we look at it and say, hey, like we can't do it. Like I'm not doing that for our company. We're not doing that to the client. It's wrong. Like that's just my personal feel. We're not going to do it. I must see the proof of performance first before I put my money there. And that's really second, before I recommend someone else put their money there. Like that's the first thing. And I'm talking about the cash value and the death benefit over time. I'll let you in a little secret. Well, not really, because I'm not going to mention company names. He went with this guy on the far right because they had among the strongest guaranteed values when we compared that. And also when we looked at historical performance, these two were almost neck and neck. They go back and forth over time. These guys could not show any historical performance, which he said, hey, if you can't show it, that probably means you don't have it. Like we asked for it 1,000,000 times, these guys produce it, or I've got policies where we can produce it, like we've seen the actual data there. And that makes a world of difference in my opinion. We need to see, has it actually happened? Or is it just like everything else we've seen in the industry where great projections are shown, but then there's no proof of concept or no proof of performance. And then people have buyer's remorse. One thing I'll also add is when you look at the compensation, this one's the highest by far too. This one might pay 20 to 25K. Where this guy will pay 11 to 13K. And this guy will pay right around 13 to 14K. Those two are similar. Big difference though. So as an agent, and this used to go through my mind as well, especially as we started to branch off on our own as a company, really was, hey, can we use a smaller company if they're crediting stronger cash values? That's the name of the game. And if they pay more, that's great. Because the money, it's like, I don't care about that. When I say that, don't take that the wrong way. It's this business is not about the money. For me, for everyone here, like it's not. It's about the client, the consumer. They're first. And if you follow that model, you will do well in business. Put the consumer first, then the money will come. So, but from a justification standpoint, say, okay, I can justify this because the numbers look so much better. And the guarantees are strong as well. And man, make close to double the amount? Yes, sign me up. But then as we really dug deep, I'm like, okay, I do not see that final piece of proof there, which is critical. Like it doesn't exist. Like I could have this alleged star pitcher that we're going to recruit. Maybe we're going to draft, right, the star football player. He's really, really good in college. Everything checks out. But every time we want to see him, just throw that, that line drive or that Hail Mary pass, like there's no proof of that. But some of the coaches and teammates say, yeah, he'll definitely be able to. He can do everything else. He can do everything else when it comes to plays, but never seen him actually throw a deep pass. No Hail Mary. Never pulled it out in the last 30 seconds of the fourth quarter. Draft him anyway. Doesn't work out. We bomb in the draft. I should have drafted Peyton, but I didn't. That kind of stuff is what we don't want. So that's really how I progress through it. Like, okay, I need just a solid step back, drop, throw for the first down, touchdown. I know it's there, it's consistent, that's what I like. And by the way, that's exactly what big banks, corporations, the elite and ultra wealthy do. Like, that's the model they follow. So why would I try and do anything different? This guy did the exact same thing. He looked at it and said, hey, this has always worked. The numbers still look good. Why I'm doing this, safe, liquid, tax-free area to position money, sign me up. Let's do it. So hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe for more, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks again. Hey guys, Steve Parisi here. If you enjoyed the content you just saw, please subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for future videos. If you'd like more information or to see some custom policies for yourself, feel free to call or email our offices at the contact information below.